G'day guys. So, let's talk about tyre pressure monitors. G'day folks. As four-wheel drivers, we're always changing our tyre pressures. We're always inflating or deflating our tyres depending on the terrain we're driving through. Now, it's also important to monitor those tyre pressures, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere. You want to know if your tyres are overheating or if there's a slow leak. It's a very, very good idea to monitor your tyre pressures. And you do that by using a tyre pressure monitor. Tyre pressure monitors work very simply. You have these sensors that you screw onto every tyre, and via Bluetooth technology, they send the tyre pressure and temperature back to a head unit, which will then monitor for any change. Every single tyre pressure monitor that I've come across over my years has all had the same shortcoming. They don't adapt to your changing tyre pressures as a four-wheel driver. You set them for your on-road pressures and they will monitor that perfectly fine, but when you get to an off-road part and you go to lower your tyre pressures, the thing will go into alert mode, and they are all very cumbersome to go and reset to your off-road tyre pressures. So what happens is I just don't bother, and that basically defeats the purpose of having a tyre pressure monitoring system alert you if there's a problem. So I've been on the hunt for a better tyre pressure monitoring system for years, and I can't find anything on the market that has multiple profiles that can adapt to both on-road and off-road conditions. Until now, I came across the iCheck tyre pressure monitoring system, and as soon as I read about what this did, I thought that's the product for me. Here is the iCheck tyre pressure monitoring system. So let's have a look at what's in this box. So it comes with the instruction manual. I've already had a look at this before. It's a very well written instruction manual. I've already opened this earlier today. This is a little non-slip pad for your dash if you need it. In this unit I have 5 sensors. They're the same as pretty much your regular tyre pressure monitor sensors for other products. They just screw onto the tyres. And these are numbered 1 to 5. It comes with some USB-C adapter, cable, and some lock nuts and a tool to help you secure them to your tyres if you should choose to do so. And it has some rubber caps to protect them. Now the unit here is not a bad looking unit. It's really, really nice. It's got a solar panel on the back, which means it will always be topped up with power, so you don't need to charge it, but if you want to, it has a USB-C port right there, and it's a nice bright screen. Yeah, it's a really beautiful looking unit there. So what sets this tyre pressure monitor apart from anything else, and the main reason why I selected it, is there is no setup required at all. So as soon as I plug the sensors into the tyres, they Bluetooth back to the main unit, and whatever pressures the tyres are on at that point in time is the starting point. And if the tyre pressure changes by a certain threshold, or the temperature changes by a certain threshold, it will sound the alarm. So at the moment I'm on 40 psi. I will plug in the sensors and that will start monitoring from 40 psi, and if it changes it'll sound the alarm. Fantastic. If I get to a dirt track, I'll remove the sensors, deflate the tyres to, let's just say, 25 psi. I'll plug the sensors back in, and that is the new target pressure that the sensors will start monitoring from. And if it changes by the same threshold, temperature or tyre pressure, it will sound the alarm. Perfect. There's no setup required, and it will work for all conditions regardless of your starting off tyre pressure. So I'm really, really keen to see how this works over time. So next thing is I'm going to install them on the car and go for a drive. Okay, so the sensors are numbered 1 to 5, and you need to put the sensors on in the right order. So it's starting from front left, 1, 2, and then back to 3, 4, and the spare wheel is 5. So number 1, let's go. Do the driver's side. The other difference between the sensors on this car and others is, for example, my previous tyre pressure monitors, these would only turn on and send information to their main unit when it detected movement. These other ones do the same thing, but it also sends tyre pressure readings back to the main unit every 5 minutes, even when the car isn't being driven. Now, you could say, well, that may be a bit wasteful of the battery. It's only a bing and that's it, and it turns off again, so it doesn't really draw too much battery power. And the good thing about that is if your car is parked for 2 or 3 weeks and you're not using it, or if you have a caravan and you're not using it, then it will be collecting data and you will know over the long term if those tyres are letting down or not. So rather than finding out when you've already left home and you're an hour into your trip that, oh, I've got a leaking tyre, you'll know straight away. So that's another good thing about this unit. So now that they've been connected, all we need to do is sit in the car, start driving, and we should see the readings pop up on the unit. Okay, so I've just put the sensors on the tyres and the pressure is showing up on this display here. It's reading 40, 41, 42 and 41 psi. And yes, I have been driving the car, so the tyres are slightly different temperatures and therefore slightly different pressures. But the next logical step would be to demonstrate to you what happens if a tyre starts letting down as I'm driving. But how do I actually do that? Because there's only 2 ways to take air out of a tyre. One is to stick a knife through it and simulate a proper leak, or the other way is to take the sensor off and let some air out of it. Now, if I take these sensors off, this is going to start beeping at me to tell me that there's something wrong. Now, I can let some air out, but as soon as I put the sensor back on the tyre, it's going to start monitoring from that new tyre pressure. It's going to say, well, this is my new starting point, and I'm going to alert you if the tyre pressure goes up by 25% or down by 15%. So I can't actually demonstrate a real scenario for you, but let's just see what happens if I take the sensor off the tyre. So I'll put the unit up here, unscrew this from the tyre, and that should then start beeping within a few seconds, and that will basically alert that there's something wrong. This has dropped off the tyre, or the tyre has dropped in pressure or temperature. You'll hear this alert coming, and any second this will, there we go. So just hit a button to silence it, and yeah, so that was, I don't know if you can see that, but that will tell you which tyre is at fault, and this is the top left one is blinking there, which is the front left tyre here. So I'm going to put this back on the car. Alright, so I've got the sensors back on the tyres, and this is now reading the correct pressure again. It's 40, 41, 42, 41. And as much as I'd like to be able to demonstrate to you what happens when the tyre lets air down, I can't think of a good way of doing this without actually getting a knife and sticking it through the side of my tyre. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to keep this unit on my tyre and in the car, and you will see it working over the next few trips that I do. I'll hopefully keep this for many years to come, and with any luck I won't need to worry about tyres letting air down or getting a puncture, but I probably will. So you'll probably see what happens in an upcoming video, but basically what you saw here today is what should happen. It should just start beeping when the tyre pressure goes up or down by a certain amount. But that's about as good a demonstration as I can give you. If you've been looking for a better tyre pressure monitor that caters to both on-road and off-road conditions, then give iCheck a go. I searched for this for years, and I finally found a product that does exactly what I want. So if you've got the same needs as I had, well, yeah, give iCheck a check. It's a very nice little unit here, so it might work for you. I think this is going to work perfectly for me. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care, guys.